The whispers of truth are no longer hidden in the shadows. The lies that were spun around you, the schemes carefully crafted behind closed doors, are now unraveling before the world. The very ones who thought they could bury your light in secrecy are being dragged into the open, their masks stripped away by forces greater than their deceit. Every move they made, every word they twisted, every trap they tried to set has circled back upon them. Their arrogance made them believe that you would remain blind, that you would never see the truth that was concealed so deeply. But heaven has a way of exposing what mortals try to bury, and now their steps are trembling because their reckoning is here. The pain they caused you was not unseen. The tears you shed in silence, the betrayal that cut like a blade, all of it was recorded in the unseen realm. And now, in this moment, those wrongs are demanding repayment, for no darkness can remain hidden forever. Stay with me, for what is about to unfold will grip your heart. Do not let your attention slip, for this is the revelation you were never supposed to witness. This is the unraveling of the plot against you, and the divine justice that moves with unstoppable power. The truth is spreading like fire. Conversations that once mocked your name are now filled with fear, because those who betrayed you know their time has run out. They see the trap closing in around them, the same trap they thought they had built for you. The ones who laughed behind your back now struggle to breathe, because their secrets are rising to the surface. Their alliances are breaking, their stories no longer align, and the lies they held onto like a shield are crumbling. They underestimated the strength of your spirit, and now they tremble as their shame comes alive. Every step they took against you was marked. Every plan they whispered in corners was heard in the heavens. The hand of justice has been reaching quietly, and now it grips them so tightly they cannot escape. You are no longer the victim of their hidden betrayal. You are standing in the light of vindication, and soon the very world will see what was done to you and why the heavens moved to correct it. The ground beneath their lies is shaking, and they feel it with every breath they take. They can no longer hide behind false smiles or sweetened words, because the truth they buried is now roaring like thunder. Their time of playing games with your heart, your trust, and your name has ended. The universe has turned its gaze on them, and there is no escape. What they thought would remain a secret is being written across the skies, impossible to deny, impossible to silence. They are being caught in the very act of their betrayal, and the fear in their eyes betrays the guilt in their souls. Their whispers once pierced your peace, but now it is their own nights that are sleepless. Their dreams betray them with visions of exposure, visions of the truth finally reaching your ears. They have tried to run from what they did, but their footsteps are heavy with the weight of their wrongdoing. The curtain has been pulled back, and the performance of their false loyalty is no longer convincing. Their carefully polished masks are cracking under the pressure of justice, and soon their faces will be revealed in the light of what they really are. The silence that once covered them is gone. The ones who betrayed you cannot bear the echo of your name anymore. Every time it is mentioned, they feel the sting of the truth pressing against their conscience. Their actions against you haunt them in ways they cannot explain, and no matter how hard they try to hide, they are found out. The same people who once stood boldly, plotting behind your back, are now shrinking under the weight of their mistakes. Their courage was only built on lies, and now that foundation is collapsing. The walls they built to conceal their treachery are falling brick by brick. The truth has power, and it is relentless. It does not bend to the wishes of those who hope to bury it. It rises with strength, and now it has risen for you. You are stepping into a moment of clarity unlike any you have known. You will see what was hidden, you will hear what was whispered, and you will know exactly who stood against you in the shadows. Their unveiling is your vindication. They thought no one would ever believe you if you spoke about what they had done. They thought their web of charm and manipulation would hold strong. But the same threads they spun so tightly are now strangling them, pulling them into the very pit they prepared for you. Every secret conversation is echoing back into their ears. Every plan they made behind closed doors is no longer secure. Those who once joined in their betrayal are stepping away, unwilling to sink with them in the storm. You are not the one trembling anymore. You are the one standing firm while they try desperately to cover the damage. The spotlight is no longer on you as a victim, it is on them as the deceivers. This is the shift you have been waiting for. The world will finally see them for who they truly are. The tide has turned, and nothing will stop it now. Their downfall is loud, but your rise is even louder. You are being lifted from the pain they tried to drown you in. The sorrow they placed on your shoulders is being stripped away, and in its place is the cloak of justice. The whispers about you are turning into whispers about them. Their names are the ones being spoken with doubt and disbelief. Their faces are the ones people look at with mistrust. They cannot outrun what is unfolding. The truth is chasing them faster than their lies can cover. Every path they try to escape through leads them back to the very moment of reckoning they feared. And you, yes, you, are now free from the burden they placed on you. You stand tall, shining in the light of truth, while they sink deeper into the shadows of exposure. The exposure is spreading like wildfire, and nothing can contain it anymore. Their names are now spoken in rooms where their secrets were never meant to reach. The very people they trusted to protect their image are stepping back, because no one wants to sink with them as the truth rises. Every word they spoke against you is being overturned. Every action they took to harm you is being replayed in front of them. They cannot deny it, because evidence follows them like a shadow, clinging tightly no matter how fast they try to run. They once smirked, believing you would never know. But now their eyes are filled with panic, because the same story they created is unmasking them. Their own deeds are testifying against them, louder than any voice could speak. And you, your silence, your strength, your patience, has become the sharpest weapon against them. You never had to fight dirty, because truth itself has fought for you. And in this hour, that truth is screaming across every corner of their lives. You may not realize it yet, but the tables have turned entirely. You were the one left in pain, abandoned by the ones who should have stood with you, but not anymore. They are now living in the fear they tried to place in your heart. Every moment of betrayal is haunting them. Every step they took against you is being replayed in their minds, louder with each passing day. They thought their actions would fade into silence, but instead they have grown into storms they cannot silence. They tried to rob you of your dignity, but it is their own dignity that is being stripped away. They tried to leave you in shame, but it is their names that are marked with disgrace. They tried to bury your light, but it is their shadows that are swallowing them now. The justice of life does not ask for permission, and it does not delay forever. And now that justice has come knocking on their door, they cannot pretend, they cannot run, and they cannot hide. They are being caught in the very places they thought they were safe. The same environment they used to betray you is turning against them. Their own words are betraying their lips, their own actions are betraying their hands, and their own conscience is betraying their peace. You are no longer the one carrying the weight of their betrayal. The burden has been shifted. It now rests fully on them, pressing down until they are forced to admit the truth. The voices that once mocked you are now mocking them. The eyes that once looked down on you are now looking down on them. The judgment they poured onto you has returned, multiplied, and it cannot be escaped. They underestimated you. They underestimated the quiet power of justice. And now they are paying for every careless step taken in the shadows. The circle of betrayal they built is breaking apart. Those who stood with them are scattering, unwilling to face the downfall. One by one, their false allies are leaving, because no one wants to stand in the fire that is consuming them. It is not your battle anymore. It is not your pain anymore. What once weighed you down is now the chain around their neck. Their laughter has turned into silence. Their confidence has turned into shame. Their power has turned into weakness. And you are walking free. Free from the chains they tried to place on you. Free from the lies that once wrapped around your name. Free into the life they could never take away from you. The truth has wrapped around them like a net, and no matter how they twist, they cannot break free. The whispers of their betrayal are now shouts in the air, and the world that once believed their lies is seeing them in a new light. They are being stripped of the false honor they wore, and the shame they tried to place on you has become their own cloak. Every hidden action has resurfaced. The messages, the meetings, the false smiles, they are all being uncovered. There is no corner dark enough to shield them, no wall high enough to hide behind. You once carried the weight of confusion, wondering why things felt heavy when you had done no wrong. But that heaviness has shifted away from you and onto them. They cannot carry it, and their knees are buckling beneath its power. The same silence that once made you feel isolated is now suffocating them. They are drowning in their own guilt, unable to breathe freely because the truth is pressing harder with each passing day. They wanted you broken, but now they are the ones fractured. The world has a way of balancing itself, and you are seeing that balance take form. What was whispered in secret is being announced in the open. What was done behind your back is now unfolding before your eyes. Their downfall is not quiet, it is loud, undeniable, and irreversible. They cannot smooth over the cracks in their stories anymore, because every new word they speak exposes another hole in their lies. Their tongues have become their own accusers. The betrayal they once celebrated is now their torment. The hands they used to manipulate have turned against them. The alliances they once depended on are scattering like dust in the wind. And you are no longer the one bent in pain. You are rising higher with each revelation, your strength magnified by the truth that shields you. They underestimated the power of patience. They believed that by moving faster, by striking harder, they could destroy you before you ever saw the truth. But their speed has become their downfall, for in their rush, they left trails too visible to erase. You have been steady, you have been strong, and now that steadiness is your crown. While they panic, you are calm. While they fear exposure, you walk with peace. The tables have turned in full. You were once the target, but now you are the witness of their collapse. The very stage they built to mock you has become the ground of their humiliation. They are finally being caught. And nothing, no denial, no excuse, no disguise, can rescue them from the reality of what they did. Their downfall is no longer a possibility, it is a certainty. Every whisper that was once carefully hidden is echoing louder, spreading across places they never expected. Their secrets are leaking out, and the very walls that once kept them safe are crumbling. You can almost feel the shift in the air. The heavy silence that used to suffocate you is now pressing down on them. What they thought would never come to light is now the very thing consuming them. They carry fear in their steps now. They look over their shoulders, expecting the truth to appear at any moment. Their eyes no longer shine with confidence, but with the dull haze of guilt that cannot be washed away. Every smile they showed you, every word of comfort, has turned into evidence of deceit. Their mask is cracking, and the face behind it is trembling. No amount of pretending can save them anymore. You are standing in the place of strength. What they planned for your destruction has become the foundation of your victory. Their schemes are turning into stepping stones for your rise. The pain you carried has become fuel for your resilience. The betrayal you endured has become the fire that purifies your path. You are no longer the one trapped in their game, you are the one watching them get consumed by their own flames. Life is turning the story upside down. Those who once pointed fingers at you now have fingers pointing back at them. The truth is sharp, and it cuts straight through every falsehood they tried to weave. And still, you remain untouchable. For every wound they caused you, you now carry a scar of strength, and it speaks louder than their lies. The circle around them is shrinking. One by one, their allies are backing away, afraid of being caught in the same fire. Loyalty built on lies cannot stand when truth enters the room. They are left alone with their guilt. Alone with the weight of their actions. Alone with the reality that what they did to you has returned to them in full. You are not chasing revenge, you don't need to. The universe is delivering it for you. Justice is not delayed, it is exact, and they are now face to face with it. Every attempt to hide is failing. Every attempt to deny is collapsing. They are being cornered by the very truth they thought they could bury forever. Their reputation is shaking. The same people who once admired them now doubt every word they speak. The charm they carried has turned into suspicion, and the respect they demanded has vanished into thin air. They thought they were untouchable, but nothing escapes the hand of justice. Their downfall is a lesson carved into the world, a story told so that betrayal is never glorified again. Their cries for mercy cannot erase the damage they have done. And you, yes, you, are finally free from the chains they tried to place on you. You are no longer defined by their betrayal, but by your survival. You are rising, and the entire world will witness it. This is the moment they never wanted you to see. The moment of exposure. The moment where every shadow fades and the light stands unchallenged. Their world is collapsing piece by piece, and every collapse echoes back to the moments they tried to steal from you. The very paths they walked in secret are now lit, revealing footprints that lead only to their guilt. Their strategy of silence has become the loudest testimony against them. You watch as people who once turned away now stare in disbelief, because the truth has a way of changing perception overnight. The alliances that bolstered them were fragile from the start, built on convenience rather than honor, and now those strands are snapping one after another. The isolation they face now was forged by their own hands. The calm you wore through the storm is becoming a quiet victory. No triumph is needed from your lips, because the world itself is pronouncing the verdict. The balance that was bent in their favor is righting itself with a force you did not have to command. Their excuses scatter like ash in the wind, incapable of covering what has been unearthed. Every carefully edited story they told begins to fall apart under the weight of small, unchangeable facts. The truth does not need embellishment, and it never asked for mercy. You feel the relief like a sunrise after a long night, warm and undeniable, seeping into places that had been frozen by doubt. The breath you take now is not the same as the breath you held during the betrayal. It is freer, calmer, and it carries the knowledge that you stood through the worst and did not break. The strength you kept hidden now shines in the space they left behind. There are witnesses who now step forward, their silence turned into courage because the moment is right. Their testimonies are not dramatic, but they are steady, simple accounts that align and form an unbreakable pattern. When ordinary pieces link together, they create an extraordinary truth. The ones who plotted against you watched those witnesses with pale faces, understanding that the walls they built were never sound enough to hold back a patient truth. They try to bargain with explanations that rearrange nothing. Their hands shake as their stories crumble under small, ordinary details that refuse to be rewritten. You are moving into a new chapter without needing to fight for it. The forces that once weighed you down are being reallocated where they belong. Your dignity moves forward quietly, like a steady river carving clarity into the landscape they tried to cloud. What was done to you becomes visible in everyday moments, and people begin to see the pattern for what it is. The small, consistent signs of manipulation no longer appear isolated, but like beads on the same thread. Once the pattern is clear, compassion shifts to you and skepticism shifts away. They attempt to salvage their reputation, but reputation cannot be reconstructed with false gestures at the last moment. Apologies that arrive too late ring hollow, because the timing reveals a motive to save face rather than to make amends. The community sees through the performance and values integrity over spectacle. You discover allies you did not expect, people who value truth more than convenience. Their support comes not as a parade but as simple actions, a steady presence, a whisper of acknowledgement, a small defense when your name is mentioned. These quiet loyalties matter more than loud declarations because they endure. The shame that covers them is not a private thing, it becomes public in the most ordinary ways. Colleagues who once greeted them warmly now hesitate, friends who celebrated them now step back, and their usual places feel different. The world around them rearranges to accommodate the truth that has arrived. In the hollow left by their collapse, you find a new floor to stand on, one built from lessons learned and boundaries finally established. The pain taught you where to place your trust and where to refuse it. The map of your life redraws itself with clearer lines, and you move through it with a steadier step than before. They search for reasons that might explain away what is obvious, reaching for misunderstandings and coincidences that never actually fit. Their attempts to create plausible alternatives fail because the story is not a single lie but a constellation of small betrayals that point in the same direction. Patterns do not lie. As other people start to speak what they have seen and heard, the noise around the betrayers grows unbearable to them. Their phones are less frequently answered, invitations stop coming, and the casual connections that once sustained them melt away. Social life retracts like a tide, exposing them to the open sky of scrutiny. You no longer feel the sting when their name surfaces in conversation, because the sting has become a shield that protects you from further harm. Awareness becomes your armor and presence becomes your power. Where once you felt depleted, you now sense a reserve of calm readiness. Justice here is not theatrical revenge but a steady correction. It is the natural consequence of actions returning to their source, an inevitable rearranging of truth and consequence. You watch this natural order unfold and sense a deep, unshakable relief that does not need to shout to be heard. The people who hurt you are forced to face small practical consequences that accumulate into something heavy. Tasks they once did easily are now complicated by distrust. Responsibilities they held are questioned, and doors that used to open for them remain closed. The ripple they sent outward finally comes crashing back. You receive messages and actions of apology from unexpected places, not because they all believe in you, but because truth has a way of moving people to integrity. Some apologies will be sincere and change will follow, and some will be empty gestures that reveal themselves quickly. What matters is that the environment around you begins to favor honesty. Your story becomes a quiet example to others who suffer in silence, a reminder that patience and truth can outlast cleverness and deceit. People begin to see that endurance and uprightness are not weaknesses but lifelines. Your survival becomes a signal to those who need hope that wrongs can be righted in time. They are left to reckon with themselves in private moments where excuses have no audience. The faces they see in reflective surfaces are not the ones they advertise to the world. Those private reckonings are sharper than public humiliation because they pierce where no one can watch. Regret, when it arrives alone. You do not need to orchestrate their downfall, because what you suffered was never a currency to be traded for vengeance. Your path forward is built from restoration, from reclaiming time and rebuilding trust with people who deserve it. The energy you once spent defending yourself is now invested in creating a life that reflects your worth. The upheaval around them stabilizes into consequences that are clear and proportionate. They may lose positions of influence, they may be asked to step back, and they may be left to reconstruct lives that now require genuine repair. These are practical ripples, not dramatic punishments, that reflect the honesty of the situation. You begin to notice small joys again, simple pleasures that reclaim ground stolen by sorrow. Mornings feel lighter, laughter sounds truer, and plans for the future reclaim their brightness. These are not grand miracles but steady returns to a life worth living. Those who once sided with the betrayers are now making choices about where their loyalties truly lie. Some will remain regretful, some will offer support, and some will step away. These shifts reveal the character of people who once looked convenient, and in time, you find that the company you keep becomes healthier, truer, and more sustaining. In the hush after the storm, you plant new boundaries like markers of the life you intend to live. They are quiet, firm, and practical, conversations that no longer go in circles, relationships that now require transparency, and time spent only where respect is mutual. These boundaries do not announce themselves loudly, but they change everything by preserving your peace. This is the moment where woundedness becomes wisdom, and where pain becomes an instrument for clarity. You carry the past not as a burden but as a teacher, and you use it to guide choices that protect and nourish. The future opens with lessons etched into its edges, and you step toward it with greater care and enduring hope. Their exposure will remain part of the story, a chapter that taught you what to avoid and what to cherish, and in that way it will serve a purpose beyond the hurt. The narrative of betrayal becomes a thread in a larger tapestry of growth, not the whole design. In time, the color of your life is more defined by renewal than by the shadows that once clung to you. Stand steady now in what remains, a life reclaimed, relationships reformed with better people, and a reputation restored not by argument but by the quiet testimony of truth. The world has witnessed the unmasking, and you have been honored by endurance rather than spectacle. The safety you sought returns, slow and sure, and with it the gentle certainty that you were not meant for what they tried to make you. Move forward with the knowledge that exposure brought you clarity, and clarity brought you home.